Hey y'all, my name is Gabrielle. Welcome back to Gabrielle's Guide to Books. Y'all, I had so much fun with you talking about books that felt like 90s movies, so I only had to do it right by coming back to do books that feel like 80s movies. After all, I am an 80s baby. The 80s had just as many great movies as the 90s. I can't claim it as the best decade outside of me being born in the 80s, but it had some really great movies. The movies were so good in the 80s, I put about 10 of the titles in a jar, shook it up, and then pulled out 4 because I really could not decide on which ones I wanted to actually talk about. So if you like Black bookish content, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to this channel.
Even on the bad days, I thank God for making me brave, 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 brave.
I will post a link to the 90s video just in case you did not see it, but just like in that video, I can't remember all of the movies and the synopses and all of that type of thing, so I'm gonna have my phone with me to help me out. Because child, I started talking about a movie I didn't even select. Okay. Ooh. So the first movie that I will talk about is Coming to America. She's your queen to be. I cannot believe I'm on here singing on Beyonce's internet. So Coming to America is a 1988 romantic comedy. I mean, this movie is so classic. It just has such classic scenes. Yes. Anyway, so this movie tells the story of Prince Akeem Joffer from the African nation, which is a fictional African nation of Zamunda. He travels to the US in hopes of finding his queen to be. He doesn't want his future queen to be caught up in the fact that he's a prince and wealthy, so he comes as a very plain man, a commoner, and he works at a restaurant, McDowell's. If you've seen the movie, you know it is a classic. I could go on and on talking about the movies, but that is really not what we're here for. But I wish we were here for it, to talk about the movies. We need to find a way to talk about movies, y'all. I guess this is it. The first book that I will recommend on this theme is Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Y'all, so this book is one of my all-time favorite books, probably in my top 10, top 20 favorite books, probably top 10 favorite books. So this book is a lot of things. It's part love story and it's also part immigration story. And the reason why I picked this for Coming to America is, of course, for its immigration story. So we have Ifemelu, and she comes to the US to work, to study. The things that she and her family go through as immigrants from Nigeria, it's not the cute fun and games Prince Akeem story. If you actually want to get a really raw and interesting and just riveting and sometimes heartbreaking, but just a story that sticks with you about immigration, I think that this is one that you would want to pick up. We see her struggling to make it. We see her struggling with documentation, visas. Her at one point, her auntie, who she lives with, is a doctor in Nigeria, but she has to go through medical school all over here in the US. Her little cousin really dealing with this fractured identity of being both Nigerian and being American. Definitely come for the immigration story because it is so good, but stay for the love story. This is, yeah, actually, maybe this is top 10. Anyway, this is this is not a review of this book. If you are interested in a immigration story that is from an African nation to the US, I think this is a really great book. Oh, there were so many others that I could have chosen, but I was like, if I'm going to choose one, I'm going to go big or go home. And this is like one of my favorites. The other book that I will recommend is A Princess in Theory by Alyssa Cole. If you like the idea of being like an undercover prince or princess in Coming to America, this will be the book for you. We have our main character, Naledi, who is a graduate student, but she like gets all these emails that's like, hey girl, you're a princess. And she's like, this is a scam. Like, I'm so tired of getting these scam emails. Like, let me delete. I wish it was true, but let me delete. But then meanwhile, there is a Prince Thabiso, who is from an African nation. He comes over to the US and he's trying to like push up on the lady. And she's like, who is this just like strange common man? And he's like, oh, she took me for a commoner. So he basically like pretends to be a commoner, and then they kind of begin a relationship. This one is such a cute and interesting story. I think that there's a lot of things that mirror Coming to America in this book, but it really does put a woman's story front and center, just like with Americana. And I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was really funny, and this is just like a really cute romance. This will definitely give you the rom-com vibes of Coming to America for sure. And the next 80s movie that I want to talk about is Lean on Me. Y'all know I gotta do it. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Okay, I promise you, baby, I promise. I can't promise. I was gonna say I promise you that I won't sing anymore, but it's touch and go. I'll let you know. So Lean on Me is a 1989 film that stars Morgan Freeman as Joe Clark. Joe Clark is a principal of a school in, I think it's in New Jersey. It's kind of like an inner city school in New Jersey. The school has basically been taken over by the state because they have low test scores. Joe Clark comes in and he really changes the school. Joe really was doing some radical stuff. Like, he had the chains on the doors. That was the original, like, lock the doors. So basically, he was a radical principal. He came around and he changed the school for the better, but then you get the spotlight on all of these, on a few of the students within the school, and you see issues like teen pregnancy, drug usage, absentee parents, gang violence. You see like a change in the community and parents that want to be involved and things like that. So it was a really good movie. I really love Lean on Me. I haven't seen Lean on Me in actually a long time. But anyway, it's a very memorable movie. When it comes to these movies, my preference has been to give you all fiction, but doing Lean on Me, there was no way that I could not do one of my favorite books about the education system. And the book is Push Out: The Criminalization of Black Girls in School by Monique Morris. This book was really life-changing for me when I read it. And it was possibly because I was like heading up a girls mentoring program at the time, and so much of like the excellent literature out was about Black boys and criminalization in schools, which is of course a huge issue that needs to be addressed, but there was not a lot about Black girls. To read this book just like really armed me with so much information. The reason why I really love this book is it's kind of like told through vignettes about Black girls that have been, for one reason or another, pushed out of schools or criminalized in school systems. It could be something as simple as this child has a learning disability or a mental health issue, but it is criminalized and they are pushed out of the system. And this is something that was present in Lean On Me, that Joe Clark was really trying to get at the heart of the issue there, and really trying to understand what was going on with these students, and just not looking at them as just like, oh, these are the test scores for this school system, but just really trying to think about these children as individuals. I really struggled about what book I was going to do for the second book. I was thinking, oh, should I do something a little punchy? But this is the book that like immediately came to mind when I thought about Lean On Me, and I was like, let me just go with my first mind. And this is the book Push by Sapphire. This book follows Precious Jones, who is a teenage girl. She's pregnant at the time of this book, and she has faced abuse at the hands of both of her parents. And it is really because of the attention of a teacher. I think the teacher's name was Miss Rain. Miss Rain, I think it was the name of the teacher. I should have looked that up. But was the name of the teacher who really helps Precious to see a different life and to really to read. It's a very heartbreaking read, one that I would say is a very challenging read, one that you have to be very like careful with yourself when you are approaching this book, but one that I really do think amplifies some of the issues and some of the things that were happening in Lean On Me. And if you are really interested in what was happening with the individual children that were in this high school, then I think that Push would be a really great book to read, to sort of get more of what could be happening with a child that was sort of just pushed along through the system and is having just the absolute worst home life possible, and the power of a teacher taking interest in this student. Okay, so the next movie that I will talk about is another classic, and clearly I have a thing for Eddie Murphy. I'm realizing, because he was in my 90s, 2 movies in this one, and this movie is Harlem Nights. Harlem Nights was a 1989 crime comedy drama movie. There are so many quotable moments from this movie. I'm just thinking of them. But anyway, so Harlem Nights follows Sugar, who is played by none other than Richard Pryor, my daddy's favorite comedian, and Eddie Murphy as Quick. And they're sort of a father-son duo who is running a nightclub in like 1930s Harlem. And they are dealing with gangsters, they're dealing with the police, they're dealing with madams and her girls, they're dealing with a lot of stuff in this movie. It is just like, so much is going on in the movie, but it is just like one of those classic movies. I haven't seen Harlem Nights in so long. But there are 2 books that I want to recommend and that are taking a bit of more serious look at some of the elements and themes of Harlem Nights. I wish I could have found a book that has some of these comedic elements. If you have a book that has some of the Harlem Nights comedic elements, please, I would love to know it. The first book that I will recommend is Daddy Was a Numbers Runner by Louise Merriweather. First of all, I don't feel like Louise Merriweather gets like her due. This book was so good. This book follows Francie, and she is living in Harlem in the 1930s, which is about the same time period as Harlem Nights. And her daddy was a numbers runner. and was kind of successful, but basically then the numbers run out. He kind of cuts town. It's just her mom and her siblings that are left there. And you just see sort of the things that her brothers are into, like trying to resist a life of crime and violence. You see some of the same themes from Harlem Nights, like gang violence, drugs, prostitution, a lot of those things coming up in this book. There is assault and violence in this story. And then we get this like personal look at what is happening to Francie in the 1930s. I think this book is one of those like unsung books that I wish more people would start to read again. But this book, if you are really interested in a Black girl's look at 1930s Harlem, this is a really great book to read. So the next book I'll recommend is Home to Harlem by Mr. Harlem Renaissance himself, Claude McKay. I didn't read this book until I was in college, but this is actually one of my favorite novels to come out of the Harlem Renaissance era. And this book follows Jake, who is a soldier from World War I. He is in Harlem, spends a very special evening with a woman, and then he kind of loses track of her, does not see her again, but is like in love with this woman who also happens to be a lady of the night. The story really continues with Jake trying to find work. He reunites with some friends, and then but of course keeping in mind this woman who he has fallen in love with. And I don't want to ruin the book for you all. If you are interested in this world of Harlem, especially during this like Harlem Renaissance kind of era where things are happening in nightclubs, and there's also this sort of like love for a lady of the night type of story that is also present in Harlem Nights, then you would really love Home to Harlem. Home to Harlem has so many other elements besides the ones that I'm talking about there, but it's really a hard story to describe without like giving away so much of the plot, but I think it is just a really great one to read, and especially if you haven't read any real like novels and literature of the Harlem Renaissance era, this I think is a really great starting point because it has a lot of like moving pieces into it. The story really moves, and it's one that will be memorable for you. Okay, y'all, so for the final movie in this roundup, it is School Daze. It couldn't be me without a Spike Lee. I probably had like, I don't know, I guess there were probably 2 Spike Lee movies in, so I had a good chance of pulling one out. School Daze is a 1988 like comedy drama musical that stars Spike Lee, Lawrence Fishburne, Giancarlo Esposito, and Tisha Campbell. So this film was based on Spike Lee's kind of experiences at his alma mater, Morehouse College, and it really focuses on an HBCU experience, but also on like sorority, fraternity culture, but also tackles issues of like colorism, intra-racism, texturism, but also like political action and activism on HBCU campuses. So it has a lot of stuff in it. Wake up! School Daze was a classic, okay? Yes, I've probably seen this movie like no less than 1,000 times. I have 2 to recommend for School Daze. The first one is You've Got a Place Here Too. And this one is a collection of like short stories, which are like love stories at HBCUs. And y'all, there are a lot of authors that have like their short stories in here. Let me tell you who are, like, it's star-studded, I'm telling you. So here's some of my favorites that have stories in here. There is Kennedy Ryan, Farrah Rashawn, Kiese Layman. There's a lot of good stories in here, y'all. So anyway, all of them are about like love stories at HBCUs, and it really does like run the gamut. This is a really good one if you are an HBCU graduate, if you are just a lover of love stories, or you love college love stories. This is a really great one to pick up, and it just reminds me so much of School Daze and kind of some of the love stories that were running through it, or the like heartbreak stories that were running through it as well. People love to return to School Daze is for the nostalgia of like college life, but also of course college life on an HBCU campus. I think that this book will definitely give you all of the feels. Each one of the authors offers something different from the HBCU love story, college romance experience. And the second book that I will recommend is Sorority Sisters. So of course, a huge part of School Daze is the sorority and fraternity culture. I'm in a sorority, so I was struggling, y'all, to find a book that I thought was balanced. Is the right word to use, is balance. There's so many books about sorority and fraternity culture, and child, yeah, not too much on this. They're real out there, okay? This is the one that I ultimately decided to choose, and it is Sorority Sisters by Tawana T.J. Butler. The reason why I ultimately chose it is because I do feel like it is a story that is balanced, and it's actually one that I read back in probably my dorm room, where I was like, am I gonna join a sorority? Am I gonna make it? So I remember reading this one. This one follows 5 women known as the Phenomenal Five that make up this pledge line for this fictional sorority. And they come from all different backgrounds, from all different parts of the country. And it's really like their stories. How did they become like interested in this sorority, but then also like as they are on this pledge line, all the things that they are going through and dealing with. So it's about sisterhood, but it's also about romance and all the angst of college. And so this is one that I think will give all of the feels of the college vibe, but give enough of that sorority feel as well. So there you have it. Those are the 4 movies from the 1980s that I wanted to share with you all, and the books that I feel like just captured that era so well. You know what? I can't believe that I did 4. Like, there were so many that I left out, like Jumpin' Jack Flash, oh, Glory, The Last Dragon, Hollywood Shuffle. Oh my gosh, Robert Townsend is so talented, man. Okay, see, that's why I had to have this jar right here, because otherwise I was never going to finish this video, because I could really talk to y'all about movies and book pairings all day. If there's a movie that I forgot from the 1980s, please forgive me. Please forgive me. It was blame the jar, okay? Blame the jar. Let me know if there are other decades that you would like me to do movie and book pairings for. I would love to do that again. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Until next time, take care of yourself and stay glowing. Bye, y'all. Mwah.
I can't help but think that there is some